InfoHub for Friday, November 16. In a joint press conference today, the APNU-AFC coalition government said it remains strong and united and even more resolute in its efforts to realize the good life for all Guyanese. Stacey Carmichael has our first report.
The coalition government reaffirmed that it remains united and strong and committed to democracy and local government. Prime Minister and Acting President Moses Nagamutu said it is time for the shedding of political partisanship.
And join hands and unite in working together for the development of our communities. The successful candidates now have an opportunity to participate and to lead in the process of the renewal of the communities and to continue the reversal of the decay that had beset many of our LDCs as a result of the near collapse of the local government system during 2 decades of neglect by the People's Progressive Party.
PM Nagamutu also expressed the coalition's recommitment to all the municipalities and neighborhood democratic councils. Minister of Foreign Affairs and Acting Prime Minister Carl Greenwich said the results of the local government elections represent a victory not only for the coalition administration but the people.
The APNU and the AFC remain steadfast in our commitment to democracy and local governance and to empowering our citizens in accordance with the Constitution of Guyana to freely exercise their right to elect representatives of their choice to local councils.
The coalition also reposes high confidence in the Guyana Elections Commission for its efficient execution of the LGE. This, it noted, validates the Commission's capacity to hold free and transparent elections. For InfoHub, Stacey Carmichael.
The no-confidence motion filed by the opposition PPP against the coalition government was today dismissed by the government as idle rantings and politically insensitive. PNCR chairperson and Public Health Minister Waldo Lawrence at the joint APNU-AFC press conference today said members of the coalition cannot be bought. Minister Lawrence pointed to this administration's willingness to investigate all allegations of misconduct or corruption in public office, referencing the many commissions of inquiry that were conducted under the coalition. Prime Minister Moses Nagamutu, who is currently performing the duties of president, expressed that the opposition's intention is to breed disaffection among Guyanese. He made it clear that while he is performing the functions of president, he still has the power to vote in the House. Other senior ministers at the press briefing also rubbished the motion. The Guyana Elections Commission, GECOM, is currently working to address electoral ties in 3 constituencies across the country. Alexis Rodney was at the Commission's press conference earlier today and has more to tell us.
Chief Elections Officer Keith Lowenfield said the elections body is now able to legally handle the situation. He was speaking to members of the media earlier today at GECOM's head office.
In constituencies in the Hague, Blankenburg, LA, in the Soesdijk, Hoist, Coverdon, LA, and in the Kokwani, in one of the constituencies in the Kokwani Neighborhood Democratic Council.
Lowenfield said GECOM is following the procedure laid out in the 2018 amendment for the resolution of the ties.
This time around, with the ties as identified, we're moving to ensure that they're correctly done within the letter of the law to have these ties resolved.
According to Lowenfield, of the 573,928 persons registered to vote in this year's LGE, only 208,534 persons participated, representing a 36% turnout when compared to 2016. There were 1,676 polling stations across the 80 local authority areas. Barring the low turnout, the CEO said there was a high level of efficiency observed across the country. The APNU has one of the 5 municipalities of Georgetown, New Amsterdam, Linden, Bartica, and Mahdia. The PPP won the remaining 5. Reporting for InfoHub, Alexis Rodney.
The health challenge currently facing Guyana's head of state is certainly beatable. This was expressed by Prime Minister Moses Nagamutu recently. More in this report. The Prime Minister, who is also performing duties of head of state in President Granger's absence, was speaking at the annual graduation ceremony of the Tutorial High School on Thursday.
I believe firmly that in the power of positive thinking, that whatever afflicts him today in Cuba, it is beatable.
According to the Prime Minister, President Granger is heavily invested in the education sector. He noted that this was demonstrated in the head of state's request for buses, boats, boots, bicycles, and books in lieu of birthday gifts, which in turn are donated to school children across the country.
We have him in our thoughts today, not idly so because he's president, but because we are speaking to a man of worth, a leader of quality who wanted to imbue the same intellect he has received coming from a small village right up to the top of leadership of our country. He wants to impart that to our children as the beneficiary of all the knowledge and support he himself has received.
A release from Guyana's embassy in the Republic of Cuba on Wednesday evening reported that subsequent to a series of medical tests, President Granger was diagnosed as suffering from non-Hodgkin lymphoma. He was placed in the Centro de Investigaciones Médico-Quirúrgicas on November 1st, where he underwent a surgical procedure. The president's medical personnel began the second phase of treatment on November 14 and is likely to be placed in the CIMEQ for a short period of 2 or 3 days. During this time, the president has been working and resting in accordance with the advice he has been receiving from his doctors. Still to come, American Airlines touches down, Guyana and UK sign a maritime agreement. These and more when we return. Stay with us.
If you or someone you know was having a heart attack, would you know the signs and what to do?
Hello, I'm not feeling that well. Can you pick me up and take me to the hospital, please?
Know the risks and signs. It saves lives.
Welcome back. The Demerara Harbour Bridge will be closed to vehicular traffic from 10 p.m. on Saturday, November 17 to 2 a.m. on Sunday, November 18. This closure is to facilitate planned maintenance works, which include the changing of 2 beams. Consumers are advised to put the necessary measures in place during this period. The management of the Demerara Harbour Bridge regrets any inconvenience caused. Guyana's Maritime Administration Department and the United Kingdom's Hydrographic Office signed a data release statement that will allow the 2 countries to share hydrographic information, which will allow for the updating of nautical maps and charts for ships entering Port Georgetown. Details in this report. The agreement was signed last evening between National Hydrographer of the UK Hydrographic Office, Rear Admiral Tim Lowe, and Director General of the Maritime Administration Department, Claudette Rogers, at the residence of the British High Commissioner to Guyana, H.E. Greg Quinn. Rear Admiral Lowe explained that the UK Hydrographic Office has been seeking to improve its understanding of the seabed and improve the maritime environment, making it safer and more effective.
It will enable us to update some of the charting for the approaches to the main ports here in Georgetown, and by April of next year 3 new charts, metric charts, will be available, hopefully laying the groundwork for future marine and maritime development and long-time prosperity.
Director General Rogers expressed gratitude to the UK government for such a timely initiative and for playing such a significant role in hydrographic surveys.
The outcome of this project will yield the availability of updated nautical maps and charts to ships before they enter the port. The traditional methods, like the lead line technique, which were previously used, have been replaced by modern techniques utilizing a multi-beam echo sounder. In addition, vessel traffic is projected to increase due to the availability of updated hydro data, which will assist Guyana to maximize its economic potential, with ships increasing their cargo capacity.
The signing forms part of the Commonwealth Marine Economics Program, which enables safe and sustainable marine economics across Commonwealth small island developing states. For InfoHub, Anarakan. United States giant carrier American Airlines touched down on Guyana's shores last evening for the first time. A high-level delegation was there to officially welcome the carrier. Renetta LaFleur was there and filed this report.
The airline is now offering 4 flights per week from Georgetown to Miami and will subsequently add more flights to its schedule. Minister of Foreign Affairs Carl Greenidge, who is performing the duties of Prime Minister, said the occasion is symbolic of the integration of Guyanese and American economies through the vital service of air transport.
We view the presence of one of the largest U.S. airline companies as a very positive step towards the development of air services in Guyana, services that are currently lacking and services which are an important prerequisite for the expansion and greater sophistication of the economy itself.
In highlighting what American Airlines will be offering to Guyanese, Managing Director of International Government Affairs Robert Wirrick said Guyanese will be connected to approximately 150 destinations in and out of the U.S.
This is our 19th destination in South America as we become the only U.S. carrier to offer service to and from the country. And then through Miami, we'll be able to connect your beautiful country to nearly 150 destinations in the United States and other countries as well.
Guyanese are excited to travel with the new airline.
I'm looking forward to it because it assists us, American Airlines, with the connections. We'll be able to take people not only to the U.S. but farther on with great connections.
I hope the service is well and the flight is good also, because it's the first time. It's the first time they're flying in Guyana, right? And it's my first flight with American Airlines.
Minister within the Ministry of Public Infrastructure Annette Ferguson, Director General of the Guyana Civil Aviation Authority, retired Lieutenant Colonel Egbert Field, and United States Ambassador to Guyana Perry Holloway all welcomed the airline to the Guyana market and stated their expectations for great returns for both the U.S. and Guyana. Renetta LaFleur for InfoHub.
Here's a reminder that the ICC Women's World T20 matches continue tomorrow at the National Stadium at 11 a.m., where India will clash with Australia, and at 4 p.m. New Zealand will face off against Ireland. That's all for this evening's news. Have a safe and enjoyable weekend. Connect with us on WhatsApp, social media, and our website at dpi.gov.gy. Your bridge and weather reports are up next. Goodbye.